The censorship on Twitter will not end. It'll only get stronger. Which is why everybody needs a little more Jason Whitlock in them right now. Twitter locks Jason Whitlock out for tweeting about BLM founder's new $1.4 million home. So he must have said something pretty bad, right? If we're going to be locking people's accounts, especially those who work in media and rely on social platforms to reach their audience, there must be a reason for it, right? Right? Well, this is the tweet. Black Lives Matter founder buys $1.4 million home in Topanga, which has a black population of 1.4%. The 1.4% for 1.4 million. She's with her people. The link went to a story about the situation on dirt.com. And you can see right above it there, it was removed specifically for violating our rules against posting private information. You may not publish or post other people's private information without their express authorization and permission. Which brings up the question, why was this a trending story and why were other publications and people allowed to tweet about it? Why wasn't it flagged for everybody? Why weren't all those tweets taken down? And this has become Twitter's MO. Aside from shadow banning and algorithm manipulation, they've shown a pattern of locking people's accounts and suspending people if they are of a certain political persuasion. Anything that pushes against the woke leftist orthodoxy is in danger of getting you kicked off the platform or just locked out of your account. And BLM in particular is a group that has become insulated from any criticism on these sites. I feel like they must have a whole team just scouring these sites, locked and loaded, ready to censor whatever is critical of that movement. But what this incident really shows is the underhanded and insidious nature of how they conduct this censorship. In a recent interview, Jason Whitlock spoke on the whole fiasco, and it's pretty interesting, so I'll just let him go off on it.
Talking about Black Lives Matter, man. Black Lives Matter has gotten you and I in trouble with Twitter over the last couple of days, man. First of all, man, are you still in Twitter jail, man, or did you get out yet?
I'm still in Twitter jail because I won't post bail.
Oh!
I won't post bail. I'm not sure if I'm going to post bail. You know, because Curtis, we did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And so I'm not running to go post Twitter bail when I did nothing wrong. The information, you know, obviously the background is you tweeted out, I think on Thursday, about
Patrice Can Colors purchasing the $1.4 million house in Cali. But go ahead.
Yeah. And so I actually saw it someplace else on Friday and posted a link to, you know, her buying this $1.4 million house in Topanga or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I went and looked up that the house cost $1.4 million and Topanga has a black population of 1.4%.
Black Lives Matter, but I don't want to live around you, Negroes.
You think there's a bunch of black cops in this area? And so she's gonna have plenty of white cops and white people to complain about. And so I just find it hypocritical. And so I posted the link and said she's with her people. You had called me at some point, or we had talked some point Friday, like, hey, they just put me in Twitter jail over my tweet from Thursday. And I was like, man, they ain't done nothing to me, but let's wait and see. And so by the end of the day, Friday, I was in Twitter jail. My account is suspended and they want you to remove the tweet to start your 12-hour sentence. And why should I remove the tweet when you can't access the tweet? They've made it so you can't get it. The tweet has already been disappeared by Twitter. Why do I have to remove it to start the clock on my jail time? And so literally, I've sat back and said, I'm going to do nothing and just let's see where this story goes.
You protested.
Let's see where the story goes. I'm gonna play Nelson Mandela in Twitter jail.
Oh man.
And
so he really digs into the method of censorship in this clip, and it's been brought up before, but it's just more of this gray censorship that they're engaged in. Soft censorship. It's meant to not look so scary, but it still gets the job done in the end. They aren't just removing the tweet and letting the account stand. They're actually just blocking the tweet and informing that he has to take it down. Then they push the button on the clock on his suspension. But why would they do it that way? Well, for one, they don't have to stand up strong for any of these decisions. It's easier to defend their actions this way because they can just say, oh, we're not censoring him because once he takes it down, he can tweet again. We're not getting rid of his account. But Twitter has the power to just remove a tweet from their platform if they wanted to. They can just remove it from existence. So why don't they do that? And they did this same thing to people when the Hunter Biden laptop story came out. If you posted it, you had to remove it yourself, and then you'd be subjected to their suspension after that. But why wouldn't you just remove the tweet and suspend them automatically? Why are they playing games like this? Because it's not just about censoring the content. It's about censoring the behavior and using this as a tactic to initiate people into self-censoring, which is really the big number one goal, the holy grail of all this censorship bullshit going on lately, is to shift us into self-censorship. What's better than censoring a bunch of content you don't like and don't want spread around? Well, just have people not post it in the first place, or not even have those thoughts at all. If you can manipulate society into thinking a certain way, a lot of these platforms are like, why not? If it cuts down on hate, and it's purely a manipulation tactic to say, oh, you need to remove this tweet before you come back. It's compelling you to censor yourself and to just go through the motions of deleting your own content. It's meant to reinforce the idea that you did something bad by posting it in the first place. It's making you feel that guilt as you go back and delete it. Even if you don't really feel guilty about it, just going through that action gives you that feedback loop. And then it reinforces it again by putting you in Twitter jail after that. And Whitlock just sees through all their bullshit. He's just saying, you're not going to compel me into self-censorship. You're not going to manipulate me. And it's great. Because this stuff is straight out of the CCP playbook. It's something that the Chinese people have been subjected to a lot in recent years. Especially with the social credit system they've been rolling out. And now we're seeing companies in the US that have picked up these same tactics and they're rolling them out right here. The only way to fight back against a system manipulating you is to just not give in. And what Whitlock is doing by just letting it sit there is what more people need to start doing on Twitter. Instead of playing their games and jumping through hoops just so Twitter can allow you to have your account back, just don't give in at all. They want you to self-censor. Just say no. Move to other platforms. We can't keep playing the games if they're not going to let up. By obeying their orders, you're just giving them more power. So we will see how this all plays out for Jason Whitlock, but I think more people need to learn from what he's doing here. These platforms only have as much power as we give them. And as we start to see bigger names choosing to leave, we will see a mass exodus of their fans leave as well. The power is with the people. Always. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe to Exhibit Media if you'd like to see more of our content. Join the conversation on Minds. Comment below with your thoughts on the censorship going on Twitter and Facebook and all these dinosaur social media companies. This has been Exhibit Media, signing out.